It started with a storm that didn't knock politely. It broke in like a thief. At 2:13 a.m., thunder cracked over the Texas sky, so hard it rattled picture frames on the wall. The wind howled through the trees like a pack of wolves. Rain didn't fall, it slammed. The kind of storm that made people pray, whether they believed or not. Sarah jolted awake, instinctively checking on her kids. Safe, sleeping. Then she turned to the kitchen window. Out back, in the far corner of the yard, a dim solar light flickered weakly beside Buddy's kennel. Her golden retriever was barely visible, a soaked silhouette curled into himself. The kennel, once her proud weekend project, a patch of gravel, some fencing, a slanted plastic roof, looked like it was drowning. Rainwater gushed through, flooding the floor. His blanket was submerged. His food bowl floated like a toy. And Buddy? He wasn't barking. He wasn't pacing. He was just shivering. Silent. Resigned. Guilt clawed at her. She had built that kennel with love, following DIY guides and influencer tips, believing she had done enough. But that night, the storm whispered something cruel. You didn't. By morning, Sarah had made a decision. No more patchwork fixes. No more guesswork. She brewed a strong cup of coffee, tied her hair into a messy bun, and opened her laptop. She searched like a mother possessed. Dog kennel flooring, outdoor pet spaces, mud-proof designs, flood-resistant options. Pages and pages. Forums with opinions. Pinterest boards with polished photos. TikToks that showed setups that looked pretty but didn't feel real. Nothing stuck. Until she stumbled across a grainy 47-second video with under 100 views. A man in Oregon, talking softly to his German shepherd as it lounged on what looked like recycled rubber tiles, the rain bouncing off the canopy above. The tiles had holes. The water drained right through. The dog was dry, comfortable, peaceful. That video didn't go viral, but it changed everything for Sarah. She shut her laptop and got to work. First, she dug up the gravel. Layer by layer, she removed what hadn't worked. She lined the ground with compacted crushed stone, then laid a subbase of landscape fabric to prevent weeds and insects. She found eco-friendly, weatherproof, non-slip interlocking tiles made from recycled materials. They locked together like puzzle pieces, elevated just enough to let rain drain through and airflow keep it dry. Over one section, she added artificial turf, for comfort, for potty breaks, for Buddy's joy. Overhead, she replaced a flimsy roof with a corrugated metal awning, reinforced with gutter drainage on the side. Solar motion lights. A small oscillating fan powered by the sun. Even a misting system for summer heat. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't expensive. But it was thoughtful, intentional, real. Buddy didn't just wag his tail when he stepped into the new space. He danced. It was as if he knew the difference. He lay down on the new flooring and exhaled a long, contented sigh. No mud, no soaked fur, no panic at the sound of thunder. Just peace. And that might have been the end of it, until her daughter, 14 years old, TikTok native creative soul, posted a time-lapse of the transformation. No captions, just raw footage. Buddy lying in the storm. Then the build. Then Buddy stretching out on his new floor, blinking slowly at the camera like he owned the world. The text on screen was simple. He deserved better. So we built better. Within 72 hours, the video had 1.2 million views. By the end of the week, 8.4 million. Dog lovers from Brazil to Berlin left comments asking about the tiles, the drainage system, the turf brand. A vet from Arizona offered a collaboration. A flooring company offered a sponsorship. A mother from Louisiana wrote that her dog had died last year during a storm, and if she'd seen this earlier, it might have saved his life. But the real story wasn't in the views or shares. It was in the quiet moment when Sarah sat outside with Buddy under the new roof, sipping coffee as the rain returned. It fell heavy again, but this time Buddy didn't flinch. He stretched. He yawned. He licked Sarah's hand and laid down like the storm didn't exist. And that was the spark. What began as a mother's guilt turned into a global idea. A movement, not about fancy gadgets or designer pet spaces, but about one simple belief. Your dog deserves a dry place, a warm space, a floor that loves them back. Not everyone can afford a luxury kennel, but everyone can make something with heart, with intention, with a little research and a lot of love. And the internet? It didn't just applaud, it followed. Soon, people everywhere began posting their own versions. Inspired by Buddy, some said, "My rescue dog finally has a safe space," wrote another. "A carpenter from Ohio built 10 kennels and gave them away to shelters." A teacher in New Delhi turned the idea into a class project about animal welfare. And somewhere in Austin, Texas, a golden retriever with kind eyes and a wiggly tail still naps on a weatherproof floor that didn't come from a store, but from a storm. That's how a soaked dog and a soaked heart built something the world couldn't scroll past. That's how a floor became a revolution.